Welcome back. In today's episode, we're going to speak about the lessons that we can learn from pilots and flying planes and how we can apply that to running our businesses.
Welcome to this edition of Peak Performers Podcast
with your host, Thor Conklin.
Thor will be sharing the necessary tools, strategies, and psychology you'll need to become a peak performer in any area of your life or business.
Thor Conklin here. We give you the tricks, the tips, the tools, the strategy, the technology, and the psychology peak performers use in order to get more done and execute at the highest level. If you know what to do but struggle with getting it all done, or simply want to raise your game to the next level, this podcast is for you. Sit back and enjoy. I want you to imagine for a moment that you're taking a red-eye flight from Los Angeles to New York. You're in the back of the cabin, sleeping at this point. You're about an hour outside of Los Angeles, and you got about another 4 hours to go. And in the cockpit, an interesting conversation is going on. You have the pilot and the co-pilot. In this particular plane, it's very different though. In this plane, there are no gauges. There are no knobs. There's just a steering wheel. They can turn right, they can turn left, they can go up, they can go down, they can increase the speed of the engines, but that's it. They've got no gauges to fly the plane. Now, they're experienced pilots. They've done this before, but there's nothing to look at. Outside, it's dark. It's really tough to kind of get an idea of where you are, how high you are, etc. And the co-pilot says to the pilot, "How's the gas looking?" And the pilot goes, it was pretty good when we left. I think we're pretty good. Good so far. "Hey, how's our altitude? Are we too high, too low? Are we going up? Are we going down?" Pilot goes, "I think we're doing pretty good. Feels like we're going up maybe just a little bit. We're making a little headway. We want to get up into that Gulf Stream and really start moving this thing." Co-pilot says, "Any obstacles in the way?" Pilot looks out the window, looks around. "Well, don't see anything. Looks good so far. Yeah, not too bad. I've got a good feeling about this." If you were the passenger in this plane and knew what was going on up in the cockpit, how would you feel? Would you have a sense of certainty that everything was going to be okay? Of course not. This would be absolutely ridiculous. You cannot fly a plane without the instruments. You've got to know how high you are. Are you going up? Are you going down? How's the fuel? What's going on with the rest of the aircraft? Are all the systems working? Are there any problems? Are there any bells going off? Are there any alarms? In order to fly a plane effectively and safely, the pilots have to know what's going on, and the gauges tell them. We're like, "Thor, what does this have to do with business?" It has everything to do with business. A couple months ago, a new client came to me, and we were talking about his business, and we were trying to figure out how to get his business from where it was to where he wanted to go. Well, the first thing I need to find out is, where are you? What's going on? What are your sales? What does your balance sheet look like? What are your receivables? What are your payables? What's your net profit? Tell me where you are so we can come up with a plan to get you to where you want to go. Right? We got to start with where you are. So as we dug into the numbers, actually we didn't dig into anything because this is kind of how the conversation went. I said, "Okay, so tell me what's your revenue like?" "Well, we've lost some clients in the last couple weeks, and it's kind of up, it's kind of down." I said, "Okay, can't give me complete visibility on this, but where are you? Give me an idea." "I'm not really quite sure." "Okay. Last year, what was your annual revenue?" "Well, I'm not really good with numbers." I nearly fell off my chair. But I hear this over and over and over again. There are so many of you that don't know your numbers. Some know the numbers but don't know what they mean. If you're running a business, if you are flying a plane, you need to know the numbers. You need to know what's going on. Are you keeping your books on an accrual basis or a cash accounting basis? Do you look at and understand your P&L, your balance sheet, your cash flow statements? Do you know your income per employee? Do you know your gross profit margin? net profit margin, acquisition cost for new clients, fixed expenses, variable expenses, payables, receivables, number of days it takes you to get your receivables. How is inventory if you have it? How is that affecting cash? All of these questions, you need to know the answer to them. In this episode, I'm not going to give you a course on accounting or how to manage your books or how to keep and understand these numbers. But you must. You must. If you don't understand some of these things, and I know it can be confusing in the beginning, trust me. They use so many different terms to mean the same thing. But you must understand this. You must understand your numbers, your gauges. Because just like flying that plane, you have to understand what's going on. And these numbers affect one another. And one of the biggest mistakes that I see as companies grow, they're like, oh, I'll just outgrow. It doesn't matter. As long as I have enough money or enough cash coming in, I'm good. That is one of the biggest dangers you will ever encounter. When you're small, if you don't understand your numbers, the issues are small. As you get bigger, it gets much more complicated and it gets a lot more serious. So please, today, this weekend, if you don't understand financials and how it affects your business, get the information off the web. You'll find plenty of articles, plenty of programs. I may not say it's easy to learn, but the information is easy to find. Become a student and master this. If you want to be a peak performer in the area of business and you don't understand your numbers, it will not happen, period. If you ever have any questions about financials or anything in your business, drop me a line. I'd be more than happy to get on the phone and have a free 15-minute consultation with you and go through any questions or issues or obstacles that you might have. You know, sometimes it's just easier just to talk to somebody, and because this stuff can be confusing, but you need to master it. Please don't go any longer without really understanding what your numbers mean, because it has a huge impact on you in the long term and your business. Thank you for listening. If you haven't already done so, please head over to iTunes and subscribe to the show. Also, please share this with family, friends, coworkers, or anyone that could benefit from this information. To make it very easy to share these episodes, simply go to my Facebook page, Thor Conklin, click on the episode that you want to share, and you can post it to your timeline. You just might be helping one of your friends on Facebook by sharing it on your page. You can follow us on Facebook and Twitter at Thor Conklin. The website is thorconklin.com. The email is info@thorconklin. While at the website, please sign up for our weekly newsletter with additional tricks, tips, tools, and psychology on how to be a peak performer. Remember, these episodes are anywhere between 6 and 35 minutes and are meant to be consumed during dot time doing other things. Until tomorrow, have an absolutely amazing day.